Hello to all my story lovers. Today's our story name is The Story of Paan, written by Sudha Murty. Let's go through the story. Once upon a time there were two brothers, Bhanu and Veer. Their parents died when they were young, and Bhanu brought up his younger brother with a lot of love and care. When Bhanu was old enough, he married Bharti. She was a gentle, loving person and looked after Veer with as much love as her husband. When Veer was about 20 years of age, he heard that their king was looking for soldiers to join his army, and there was going to be a war. Veer decided to join the army. Oh, how much his brother and sister-in-law cried and pleaded, telling him to retain at home with them. They could not bear the thought of the boy they had brought up with so much affection, going so far away from them. But Veer insisted on becoming a soldier, so they let him go away with a heavy heart and tears in their eyes. For many days there was no news of Veer. The king went to war, vanquished his enemy, and returned. The soldiers who went with him also came back home, but of Veer there was no sign. Day after day his brother and sister-in-law watched out for him, hoping to see him come walking down the road back home. But there was no one. Then one day a group of soldiers passed through their village, returning home from the war. Bhanu called out then and asked about his brother. Viru, oh yes, so sad, he died. In the battlefield, said one, shaking his head. No, he was injured and he recovered. Did he not come home? Said another. He was on his way home when he fell ill, informed a third. On hearing these awful tidings, Bhanu was deeply saddened. He decided he could not live at home waiting for his dear little brother to return. He would go and look for him. When he told his wife Bharti, two decided to go with him. Together they set off one day to look for the missing Veer and bring him home. They decided to go to the site of the king's big battle, where Veer was last seen by his companions. This place was far away, and they had to travel through the forest, valleys, mountains, and deserts. The two walk over many miles, but poor Bharti was not strong enough. One day, after traveling through a thick forest, they reached a little hamlet. Bharti sat down, exhausted. Then, to Bhanu's great horror, she died out of sheer exhaustion. Unable to bear his grief, Bhanu too died immediately. Over many years, at the place where the couple had died, two trees grew. One was a tall tree and the other a creeper that hugged the tree. It was as if Bharti and Bhanu were together even in death. Meanwhile, Veer, the brother they had loved so deeply, was not really dead. He had got terribly wounded in the war and spent many years recovering from his injuries in a little village far away from home. When he finally recovered, he came back as fast as he could to his old house, knowing how anxious his family would be for him. But imagine his surprise when he found the house locked and bolted, abandoned for many years. Slowly the neighbors gathered around and told him how Bhanu had decided to go looking for his lost brother. That night, Veer cried many bitter tears. How would he find his beloved brother and sister-in-law now? Where were they? By the time morning dawned, he had made up his mind. He would try and go to the way they had travelled and find them. Immediately he set off. Veer was a soldier, but he had only lately recovered from many wounds and was not too strong. It took him many days to walk across the different land Bhanu and his wife had crossed. Then one day near a forest he came across a little shrine. The villagers told him the sad story of how the shrine came to be. Years ago a couple had arrived at the spot. Tired from the days of walking, legend had it that they were on the way looking for a long lost brother. When the two died without fulfilling this wish, two wonderful plants, unknown to anyone earlier, had grown at the spot. The leaves and the nuts from the trees were so sweet and refreshing that the villager decided to build a small temple for the man and the woman at the place. Veer listened to the story with growing sorrow. He realized the couple they talk about was none other than his brother and his wife. Unable to bear the news, he turned into a statue of limestone. Do you know how they have all been remembered ever since? The tall tree grew nuts called areca nuts. The creeper leaves were paan or betel leaves, and from the statue came the lime paste that is added to the preparation of paan. And this is how loving family came together even after death. Together they taught people the values of love, unity and loyalty. And when the people chew paan, they remember this story. Do you like this story? Then comment it. Like, share and subscribe. Bye bye.